What's up, badass Black Desert Mobile fans? It's Legit back, and today I'm going to be going over the Sorcerer's Awakened versus Ascension, the Reaper versus the Raven. I'm going to go and give you guys a complete skill breakdown. If this is your first time to my channel, you're missing out. Make sure you check out the description down below for some additional badass Black Desert Mobile content. You won't be disappointed. Before we get into the material, I want to go over a couple key points here. The skills in translation aren't identical or exact, so the skills, when I name them, they might not be perfect when I bring them over, or when, you know, Black Desert Mobile comes over to global. And the second thing is, if you decide to ascend now, what if you want to go to awaken later? You can do that option. This video is kind of help you out. Maybe if you don't want to go to Ascension, you hold off and wait for Awakening. It does cost 100 million silver to purchase the item in order to switch from Ascension to Awakening, or from Awakening to Ascension. The Awakened class, the Reaper, does use a scythe and a soul for its weapons, while the Raven uses a talisman and an amulet. With that being said, let's dive right in. The first skill that we have for the Reaper is Shadow Capture. Shadow Capture does have one charge with a 6-second cooldown time. It does inflict knockdown on hit. It does have 1012% damage. Its sub abilities are plus 10% attack range, and it does have a DP reduction of -20 DP, and that does scale. That's every 10, or that lasts for 10 seconds, and that scales as that skill levels up. Attack speed also has a sub skill at -15% for 10 seconds when it hits the target. The first skill for the Raven is Miasma. It does come with one charge and a 5-second cooldown time. It does do 3 hits at 313% damage, giving you a total of 940% damage. It does have a maximum of 2 hits as well. For the substats, it does have a bleed, which does 60 damage every second for 3 seconds, which is a total of 180, as well as attack speed reduction of -5% on hit for 10 seconds. Those two skills do scale as that level scales up. And the third one, for the sub skills, it grants 1 additional charge to that skill. The next skill for the Reaper is the Holy Grail, or in this case, it's called the Bloody Gale. It does come with 2 charges, a 5-second cooldown time. You get super armor, you get knock up on successful hit. It does hit up to 20 targets. Now, it only does 171% damage per hit. However, if it does 20 hits, that's 3,420% damage. The substats is, upon successful hit, it increases your attack power AP by 20, and it does a bleed of 60 damage per second for 3 seconds, or every second for 3 seconds, which is 180 damage, and then movement speed increased by 5% on successful hit. Bloody Gale is just awesome. That is definitely your AoE grinding skill, your spin to win. The next skill for the Raven got a super boost. It comes with 2 charges, 5-second cooldown time, 402% damage per hit times 3, so it's 1200% damage. It grants super armor. It grants knock up. Substats, it's giving you a lifesteal, which is 80 health per hit. Now, the trick with that is you want to make sure you have Surret on this skill, because the more targets you hit means you're healing yourself more. As that skill levels up, it does increase the amount of healing as well. It does also give you plus 20 attack for 10 seconds on hit, as well as a 10% or 20% increased attack on the range of that skill. So make sure you guys use that skill. It's definitely huge for grinding, PvP and PvE. The Reaper's next skill is also a heal. Death Judgment comes with 2 charges on a 7-second cooldown time, grants you super armor and a knockdown. It does 1,540% damage. The sub abilities are increases your defensive power, DP, by plus 20 for 10 seconds, and it gives you 600 HP recovery after a successful hit. That's quite a bit more than Implosion in a Raven. However, Implosion hits more targets, so it has the ability to heal for more overall. Soul Siphon. While it might not come with a heal, it comes with a lot of other goodies. It decreases the target's AP by -20 for 10 seconds on successful hit. It also grants you 1 extra charge of that skill when you have it leveled up. And then when you use the Soul Shard ability, it decreases the target's AP by -50 for 10 seconds. That stacks with the first skill, the first sub skill of -20 for 10 seconds. So that's -70 decrease on AP for 10 seconds when you use Soul Siphon on a target. It also does 380% damage times 3, which is 1,140% damage on Soul Siphon. Death Brandish, the least favorite Reaper skill. It uses 25 MP per charge. You do get one charge. Has a 5-second cooldown time. It does 176 damage per hit. Does do a hit up to 7 targets, which is 1,232% damage in total. For sub-skills, it does hit one additional target, so it goes from 7 to 8 targets, which is increasing that total damage to about 1,400%. It does also have a decrease in DP for the target of 20 for 10 seconds, and an MP reduction of -5s, taking it from 25 MP use to 20 MP per charge. Doom Vortex. This is probably my new favorite skill. It comes with one charge on a minuscule 5-second cooldown time. It does 374% damage times 4, which is 1,500%. It creates a void zone in the target area. The void zone, the Doom Vortex hits the target for 25% times 5. And it does have super armor as well, except for in PvP. The sub-skills is a 10% increase on attack range, a +20 defense for 10 seconds, and target movement speed -10% for 10 seconds. This ability is just super OP. It has a lot of range. It does a lot of damage. It has a high percent of knockdown. Oh, it does also do a knockdown. So if it does hit the target, so in PvP, you can hit that ability pretty close to the beginning of the match, and it'll almost hit the person on the other side. It's not quite as far as a Huntress's Razor Wind ability now. That has a lot of range, but this ability is super awesome and does have a ton of range. Dark Creep is the Reaper's dash ability. It comes equipped with one charge on a 6-second cooldown time. You get super armor while preparing, invincible while using, and a stun on a successful hit. It comes equipped with 600% damage. It does dash to the target, has some decent range on that dash, which is really good for PvP. Its sub-skills is movement speed increased by 5% for 10 seconds, and it does a bleed of 60 damage every second for 3 seconds, which is 180 damage. Phantom Crash is essential for PvP. It does dash jump towards the target. It does cost 15 MP on a 5-second cooldown time. It does 600% damage per hit. You get super armor while using the skill, and it inflicts daze. So it jumps to the target and dazes them, so that way you can combo them up. It does also increase your DP by +20 for 10 seconds. It also has a bleed effect on it, which is 60 damage every second for 3 seconds, which is 180 damage. And then the third sub-skill there is it reduces MP by 5. So it starts off at 20. When you have that unlocked, it goes to 15. Dark Blade is one of 2 skills that has a lot of range for the Reaper. It comes equipped with one charge on a 7-second cooldown time. It does 760% damage. It throws these like glaives or axes in front of her. It does hit multiple targets and then return. Has good range and sub-skills. It does increase the number of targets that it hits by +2. It has a bleed effect, which is 60 damage every second for 3 seconds, which is 180 damage. And then when you use this skill, it actually generates one soul shard after using the skill. Dark Pulse is probably still my least favorite skill. It uses 10 MP, has a 5-second cooldown time. It has a maximum of 2 hits with 280% damage. The sub-skills are 10% increase on the range on that skill, as well as it decreases the target's DP by -20 for 10 seconds. This is really only good for boss rushes if you want to stay away from the boss. It's not really good for PvP or any grinding scenarios. Dream Prelude is probably the coolest looking ability in my opinion. It comes with one charge on a 10-second cooldown time. You get super armor while using, but not in the arenas. If you long press the skill, it instantly moves to the target and then stuns the target on a successful hit. It does 540% damage. It's obviously great for PvP. It doesn't say you become invincible, but you go invisible, so it's pretty much the same thing. For sub-skills, the movement speed decreases -15% for 10 seconds on hit, and the crit chance increase for 5% for 10 seconds for you, so it decreases their movement speed by 15%. That is huge. And then it stuns them when you hit them. Overall, this is a great PvP ability. It's not the best for grinding, but for PvP, node wars, and stuff like that, it is awesome. Dark Shift is essential for PvP and node wars. It's great for getting out of dodge. It comes equipped with one charge on a 7-second cooldown time. It does 750% damage per hit. You're invincible while using the skill, and it inflicts stun, so if somebody's up close on you. It also does generate one soul or shard of darkness upon using the skill, so another one of those souls. It reduces the skill cooldown by 2 seconds, so it goes from 9 seconds to 7 seconds on the cooldown time. Lastly, it reduces the target's movement speed by 10% for 10 seconds when you use that skill. So it's great for PvP and Node Wars. It's not really good for grinding, but that is Dark Shift. Karshan's Wrath is the second range skill for a Reaper. It's similar to Doom Vortex in range. You get one charge with a 10-second cooldown time. It does apply knockdown on hit, very similar to Doom Vortex. It does 1050% damage. It does hit multiple targets. For sub-skills, it has attack speed reduction of 5% for 10 seconds. It does have cooldown time reduction of -2 seconds, which takes it from 10-second cooldown time to 8-second cooldown time. This skill is essential for pretty much every scenario. PvP, PvE, Node Wars, Guild Wars, Seed Wars, you name it, make sure you use it. Flashbang is essential for PvP and Node Wars. It's not very good for grinding or farming. It does come with one charge on a 9-second cooldown time. It does do 800% damage per hit. It does only hit one target, and it does knock down that target. It does also decrease the target's movement speed by 10% for 10 seconds as one of its sub-skills. It reduces the cooldown time on the skill by 2 seconds, so it takes it from 9 seconds to 7 seconds when that skill is unlocked. And then for its Soul Shard ability, it has plus 60 attack for 10 seconds when it hits a target. So 60 plus AP for 10 seconds on hit. That is awesome. The level 55 ultimate for the Reaper is called Nightmare. It comes equipped with 2 charges on a 10-second cooldown time. It does a knock up on first hit, a knock down on last hit. It hits multiple targets. It's a huge AoE damage in front of them. You get super armor while using it. It does 236% damage per hit. It has up to 7 hits, which is a total of 1,652% damage total. For sub-abilities, it has a cooldown reduction of -2 seconds, taking it from 10 seconds to 8-second cooldown time. And a plus 60 AP for 10 seconds upon successful hit. So this gives you 60 plus attack power for 10 seconds, kind of like Flashbang for the Raven. This ability is just overall definitely essential for PvP and PvE, grinding, farming, you name it. The Raven's level 55 ultimate is Wrath of Chaos. It comes equipped with one charge on a 6-second cooldown time. It does 374% damage per hit with a maximum of 4 hits, which is putting it at 1,500% damage. You do get super armor while using the skill, but not in arenas. It inflicts daze on the first hit. Now, kind of like jumps to the target. It's not a super far jump. You got to be kind of close, but it does jump to the target. It dazes the target on the first hit, and then knocks him down on the last hit. For its sub-skills, it does have a 10% increased attack range for one of them, and the other one is it inflicts bleed, which is 60 damage every second for 3 seconds, which is 180 total bleed damage. This skill is definitely needed for PvP and PvE grinding. The last skill for the Reaper is called Contract. I'm not sure if that's a 100% proper translation. It does use 20 MP per use. You get one charge. Has a 120-second cooldown time. It does increase your AP by 35. For substats, it does increase your Black Spirit Rage increase by 2% for 30 seconds. And I believe one of the translations says it increases your critical hit by 100%. I don't see a heal in this ability. And for the Raven's final skill, I know a lot of people think it's a heal. I don't know if it's a 100% heal. We'll have to wait until somebody hits level 7 till we find that out. If you've enjoyed this video and that helps you decide on which you want to be, whether it's an Awakened Reaper or an Ascended Raven with the Sorceress class, I hope that helps you guys out. If you've enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button as well as think about subscribing. And with that being said, I will see you next time.